What's up, everyone? In this video, I'm going to go over a bookmap tutorial. I'm going to show you how to read this, how to understand what's going on, what everything means, the basic settings, and we're going to go over how to connect and get your connection working, and just some of the indicators that are on here. And we'll do like a brief order flow lesson just to kind of get you up to speed on what is going on so you understand how to read bookmap. And we'll look at a trade example. So before I begin, I would just like to ask if you guys could go follow my Instagram account. I post a bunch of good trading tips, and I post like trading recaps, which can be like a good resource to learn from on entries and exits and what I do. It's at Full-Time Trader Pro. I'd appreciate if you guys can help me grow that account. Now let's get into it. So before I start with Bookmap, let's go over and just kind of understand like limit orders, market orders, and like what's going on with like the order flow so you can get up to speed in case you don't know. And if anything doesn't make sense, I'm going to link a playlist down below. I made a order flow series and I have like another bookmap video on there and I go over things in a bit more detail. So if you're interested after this video, you can watch that. All right, to get started with Bookmap, to get connected, you go to bookmap.com. I have the global version. I would recommend at least the global, depending on what you're doing, but you can get away with the digital plus. These are all the things that you're gonna have access to. You can take a look at that. The only thing that I don't have is like the DOM Pro and these things, but again, I don't really use them. If you're using Sierra charts or if you're using Motive Wave like I am, you're gonna have a DOM on there and a footprint and everything. These are your prices. I knew I was gonna keep Bookmap and use it for a long time, so I just bought the one-time license fee. Because if you're doing 50 bucks a month, 39 bucks a month, eventually you're going to end up paying more than this. So a decision you have to make. If you want to try Bookmap out, which is what I did, you can just get the monthly, like get the 20 bucks a month just to kind of try it out and see. And then if you know that you want to buy it and you know you're going to use it in your trading, then I would recommend just getting the lifetime license. And if you ever do get this, like if I wanted to buy Global Plus, it would only be an extra 1,000 because I already bought the 991, so you can update. But to get through Bookmap, you have to have a data feed. If you have a broker, like I use EdgeClear, I have a Rhythmic connection through my broker. I deposited my own money into the broker, and they're my broker in my account, and they give me a Rhythmic feed. You can connect a prop firm feed like Apex or TopStep if they have a Rhythmic connection. You can connect that to Bookmap, and you'll have access to the data. Or you can do DX feed. So Rhythmic is for order routing. If you already have a way to place trades, if you're on another prop firm or you have a broker or whatever, if you just want to look at it, like if you get to $20 a month and you just want to look at the feed, you can do Bookmap data or you can do DX feed. I've used DX feed before. It's really good. This is for viewing only. You cannot place trades on DX feed. All right. It's not like Rhythmic. So if you're going to look to trade, don't do DX feed. But if you just want to get it to look at it, then it's a good one. And the only one you're going to need is the CM for futures is the CME full depth data. So if you're looking at the NASDAQ or the S&P, this is the one you're going to need to get, and it's going to be $37 each month. So those are your costs for using Bookmap. And then if you have a broker, they'll get you set up with a Rhythmic already. The cheapest way is to go to Apex, get their cheapest account, and then connect via Rhythmic. That's your hack. Once you have a Rhythmic login, however you get it, or a DX feed login, you're going to come to connections, configure, and you're going to add connection. I have my Rhythmic login I got from my broker, and then I'm going to type in my username and my password, make sure I'm in the right gateway, and then I'm going to connect, hit OK and connect. So if you have any questions on how to do this too, I mean, hit up Bookmap or your broker. Like if you're using a prop firm, just hit up Bookmap. They're really good at replying. They can help you out if you get confused. That's how you would connect. And then you would come here. So it's going to look just like this. You're not going to have the TM Lite. Come to connections, configure add-ons. I'm going to go over TM Lite in the next part of the video, but turn on Trader Map Lite. That's going to be the algo filter to filter out the algos. So before we look at Bookmap, I just want to get you up to speed on kind of how the market works between like aggressive and passive participants. So you might already know there's a buyer and seller for every transaction. There will always be a passive limit order and then an aggressive market order for each transaction. Passive is patient. There's no urgency. Those are resting orders. Aggressive is like a market order. You want to get in right now. If you've ever market bought or market sold, you're an aggressive participant. And if you've placed a limit order and you want to wait till it comes down to your price to buy, or you're in a trade and you don't really want to get out yet. You want it to go higher. You place your limit sell. It's passive and you're patient with it. Passive orders are filled by aggressive market orders. All right. So a market order hits a limit order. All right. Your aggressive buy hits a limit sell. So a market buy is going to hit on the ask, and then a market sell is going to hit on the bid. And then a passive or limit buy is waiting on the bid, and then a limit sell is waiting on the ask. So if you hear like sitting on the offer, sitting on the bid, hitting the ask, that would be the difference. So this is a depth of market, something that you might be familiar with, which is how most traders execute trades. It's going to show basically the similar data, but just a little bit different. All right. So this column that's blue right here is like the level 2. So this blue column right here is the bid, and then this is the ask in this red column. All right, so this is like your level 2 resting orders, liquidity waiting. And this middle column is the at bid, at ask. So they're color coded. The red is market orders, the blue is market buys, and the red is market sells. And then the blue on this side is the limit buys, and then the red is the passive offers. All right. And so you have your buyers patiently waiting, your sellers patiently waiting, and then you have your aggressive participants in the middle hitting. This means that 24 contracts aggressively hit the bid and took away the liquidity that was sitting here. 24 market sells came in and got filled by these passive participants. So for example, for the market to move lower, you would say, let's just say you saw 75 hit right here, 75 market sells hit. This would be wiped out, and then this yellow line would move lower, and then the market would be down here, and then now you would have your bid at 60 or 632.25, and then you would have your offer at 32.50, and it'd be bidding 32, bidding 32.50, and would move down or up. This 99 means that 99 market buys hit. There's one right here. So if the market were to move up, you would technically need to see this go 71 market buys. That would fill all these passive sellers right here. If there are no aggressive sellers, then the market would move up, and then now you'd be sitting at 60.33.25, and then this yellow line would move up and follow it. So that's basically how the DOM works. It's how the market functions. If you didn't know, I mean, the aggressive participants, we can see this on the DOM. You can see size getting filled, and then the volume column. Now, when we come to Bookmap, we're going to see these 4 columns right here. We're going to see these 4 columns on Bookmap, but it's displayed a lot differently. Because what this shows me is basically what's happening in real time, and it's moving very fast, and I don't really watch it all throughout the day. I'm watching it at key levels, and I'm looking for certain size, right? Like outliers in the data. Like there's 1600 delta here, which means that there's way more buying than selling at this price. So I'm looking for outliers in the data. But the heat map, Bookmap, is going to show us current and historical order book through a heat map. So when we go in here in a second, the darker shaded areas, the lines that you're going to see on Bookmap, those are the thicker liquidity, and it means that there's more orders waiting. It's a heavier orders. You can say like the outliers in the data. And then the lighter shades are going to be the thinner areas of liquidity where there's not as many orders. When we look at the bubbles, all the green bubbles are going to be the aggressive market buys, and the red bubbles are going to be the aggressive market sells. So just to go back real quick, when we go to Bookmap, the green bubbles are this column right here, and the red bubbles are this column. That's what those bubbles are showing us. And the lines you're going to see across the chart are going to be the ask column and the bid column. All right, now let's go look at Bookmap, and we'll put this together so it makes more sense. All right, so here's Bookmap, and I'm on the replay feature, which is a really great feature for going back and reviewing trades. But this is what it's going to look like when you join in. We have a cumulative volume delta down here. There's different settings you can change here, and you can kind of mess with it. I just keep it as the circle here. I don't pay too much attention to this column. All this is showing us is a cumulative volume delta as like an average. So you can kind of see if there's more or less. On really strong days, this is a positive number. And then on really like down days, it's a negative number. The overall, I don't make too many decisions from it, but I kind of have it on there and I just glance at it. So we talked about those green bubbles and those red bubbles and the lines. So the red bubbles are the aggressive market sells, and the green bubbles are the aggressive market buys. These are filled completed transactions. So the bubbles are completed transactions, an actual trade going on. These lines represent the bid and the offer. So if it's above price, it is an offer, that level 2 passive seller. And if it's below price, it's a passive buyer. And this over here column, it's going to say COB. And to change these columns, you just double click it and you can insert a column, hide a column, configure if you're missing one. I'm going to go over these, but this stands for the current order book. So this is your level 2 buyers and sellers. So what this shows us is all the resting orders. So what do you see here at 80? The darker shaded area means is the thicker area of liquidity. So we see 112 right here versus like 38 or 29. That's why this area is not shaded in a dark color, because it's a thinner area. So we can see if there's big sellers or big buyers waiting in the market. And if it's above price, it's an offer. And then if it's down here below price, like there's 166 contracts, that's a passive buy. And then if price moves through it, like it does right here, that means those are getting filled. Now, what it shows us is historical. That's why it kind of looks all messy. If you're not watching the screen and you're watching the order book, like on the DOM, you're not going to know if there was, kind of what happened when you weren't around. There was a big order here, 66 contracts, and then it went away. That means they lifted the order. So I only pay attention if these orders actually get filled, because we kind of saw it down here. Someone had an order right here and then they took it away. So like this guy right here has 144 contracts. Price never hit that. Price could start selling off and then he can just pull his order and take it away, and then he's not there anymore. So they can advertise price, like maybe it says like 1,000 right here, and you're thinking, oh, there's 1,000 contracts on the bid. That's going to be an area that I want to buy. But then they just take the order away and they cancel it, and then it disappears. So it doesn't matter. So resting orders, I don't put too much weight on, because it only matters if they get filled. Like this was an order and then it got taken away. But when I see the bids get filled, then it might matter more. So here's an example right here. There was an order for like 72 contracts. Price never hit it. And then he lifted his order. So it did come down and then pop back up. But technically, like whoever was right here took their order away. So it has to move through it in order for it to really like matter. And then if you, just so you do know, the red and the blue lines, that's the best bid and the best offer at that price. So what I have going on with these columns here is there's 3 columns, and there's a chart volume profile, and then there's a session volume profile, and then this one is another session volume profile. But it resets, so it only shows the regular trading hours, so you don't have the overnight action. So if I zoom in really close, the chart profile, this is showing me the buying and selling volume just for the area that I'm zoomed in on the chart. The SVP shows it for the entire session, including GlobeX, and then RTH shows it for the session just since we opened. So I have mine set to 6:30 a.m. because I'm Pacific time. So at 6:30 a.m., my chart resets and it just shows the regular trading hours. So you can see how these numbers are a little bit different because they represent different volume profiles for the session. And to change this, you would insert a column and then configure. And you can configure the column, you can name it whatever you want. And if you split the display, that's how I have it. It looks like this, but when you split it, you can kind of see the price levels a little bit better. And then to make it reset, you come down to reset, you click reset configuration, and then you can change the time when you want to reset it. So if you're Eastern and it's EDT, then you would set it to 9:30, and you just change it like that, hit apply, and then you can name it whatever you want. And then now you have a session profile. It also has a time and sales, which is really good. You can filter this by just buy, just sell, and you can do like a min size, max size. So if you want the min size to be like 50 or like 25 contracts, if you want to see it better, then you can do that. And then it would show you only order sizes of 25 or more. All the green is aggressive buys and all the red is aggressive sells. So these are the bubbles, essentially. What you're seeing on the bubbles, these are market orders that are being filled. So you can filter that out by size. It has a really good time and sales panel. Thinkorswim, it doesn't do it this way. The red and the green isn't the buying and selling. This filters it out. So that's a good feature. I don't mess with the time slices. It just like zooms in for you. So you can, put the candlesticks on here if you want to and change that. I don't have that set on. You can turn the heat map on and off. You can turn the volume dots on and off. So you can turn the volume on and off at the bottom and kind of change those settings. Slider right here, I probably forgot to mention, when you first get in, it's probably going to look like this. This is really messy, and so to get it how I have it, you're just going to turn the slider all the way to the right, and that's going to really filter out all the lower areas of liquidity. And then the volume bubbles you can make bigger or really smaller, and I kind of send it right in about the middle so I can get a good visual of the buying and the selling. So you can click this for configure add-ons. There's tons of add-ons. The only one I really use is so when you open up Bookmap and you just have this, you don't have the TM Lite. I'm going to show you to add that. It's going to look like this. These are algos, essentially. These are just orders on the order book moving up and down, and it kind of gives it this like weird staircase thing that kind of gets in the way and makes it look messy. What this TM Lite does is it filters all that out so you don't have that stair stepping. And to add that, you're going to be on here and you're going to go to your configure add-ons and it's going to say TM Lite on here. Just click TM Lite and it'll load up. And there's literature on their website if you want to know more about the TM Lite, but it basically just filters out the algos. You can change the colors of the heat map right here. I have mine set to the bottom. And that's pretty much it. So let's look at like a trade example that I took today. Took this trade. I was looking to short pops because we sold off. And I was looking for this low volume node area to form. So let me just like zoom out. This is where this side profile comes in. So let me bring in the context here. So here's Thinkorswim. We sold off at the open, and then we're like ping-ponging in this area. Right around this time, 646, I'm looking to short pops. So about right here, we're selling off, and I'm looking to short pops because it's looking like a bearish day. And then at 7:15, I'm watching the heat map, and I'm looking at this low volume area, which we're going to see the thicker volume, the low volume, and then there's this key level right here. So I at the 81. So I have my key level already, and then I'm watching for it to go. So I get in short at 80 at 7:42. So this is 7:42. All right, so I got the 1 minute chart going so you can see it better. So this is what it looks. This is what it looks like when I get in. It's 7:42. I'm short at 80, 81, and I'm looking for the 65s down here, which was a prior pivot high, and kind of where this support level where the market's balancing. So just looking at this alone at a candlestick chart, it's really hard to say because you've seen this bounce up so many times, right? It ping pongs and then it breaks up and goes out. I mean, how many times have you been stopped out, shorting right here and then it just pushes up? It's happened to me a lot. But the context with Bookmap is, and this is about 7:39. So just before I get in the trade, we have this low volume area right here, which means price moves down very fast. There wasn't a lot of buyers in here, and the aggressive market orders. This is a lot of selling. So there's a lot of aggressive market orders, like we talked about, a lot of big red bubbles, and all these passive buys are getting filled, and the market's moving lower. It comes back up here to this 80 level, and then it rejects. So I'm watching it about right here. So there's a thick order right here. There's a passive seller right here. So I want to see them get filled. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play and fast forward it. And remember, I get in at 7:42. You can see the time right here. So there's the seller getting filled. There's aggressive buying, and then it pops back down. So this is a key thing right here. This seller gets filled. This seller gets filled right here. There's an aggressive big bubble. It kind of pops back down. And I'm not in yet because I didn't get in until 7. I got in at like 7:41, 7:42 is when I posted it. So it's popped up here, and I have my key level at 80. We're sitting right here. I have my key level at 81, and I know there's a lot of selling right here, and there's a low volume area. And there's sellers waiting up here. So ideally, if there's going to be strong buying in a breakout, I'm going to want to see it like pop up hard and kind of find support and not come back down. So and I got in at 80, so I believe it pops up right here to 81. I try to get in at 81, and 81 is right here. And I tried to get in at 81, and I didn't get filled. I was trying to do a limit order, and so I just like hit 80 to get in. So I'm in about right now, and there's a pop-up. I probably got in like right here. So it popped up, it keeps coming back down. And my stop is, you can see it, I put it on here. My stop is above 84, so which is the high of this wick where there was a confluence. So I'm in at 80, and my stop's at 84. So I have a 4-point risk because if I'm correct, this is going to sell off. It's not going to come back up above this wick. And then that's exactly what happened. Large selling ensued. So I have a 4-point risk, and my target's about 15 points away. And I can speed this up. There's bids right here. They get filled, it goes lower. There's a bid right here at 70. That one gets filled, and then it continues to go lower. So even though these bids are getting filled, it's going lower. I'm not going to get out because this bid gets filled, which is a key point. Just because you see a line that's thick, that's a thick orange or red, doesn't mean you're going to buy with it or sell with it, because context matters, right? This is already a red session, so they might not provide a bounce right away. And it comes down to 67 right here, and my target's at 65, so I didn't get out yet. It's bouncing, and then ultimately it comes back down. There's bids right here too, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get out maybe at these bids. I have my key level here, and then it sells off, and then I get out there at 65, which is about 7:48, and then my out was, there it is, 7:48 a.m. So I got out of it right here, which I'm happy with because it came down. I got out at 65. It popped back up to 76, and then it went lower. So I think my initial target was low a day at 60. So I could have held it for an extra 5 points, but I would have had to be in the trade for like another 15, 20 minutes. And it's tough because when it's balancing, this could have came back up, and I had my stop at break even and stopped me out and went back down. So this is what the chart looks like. And then this is what Bookmap looks like. So it's the same movement, but there's a lot more detail in what's going on behind the candlesticks with the resting orders. It's historical. You can see what happened in the past. You can see the aggressive participants. Like if there's a lot of green bubbles or red bubbles, even right here, there's a aggressive market order where I got filled at 80, hitting this passive seller, and then another green bubble and it comes down. So if there's green bubbles, right, that means that there's market buying. If their price is going to move up, then you need to see these buyers step in on the gas and lock out the sellers on the offer. When that doesn't happen, there's a passive seller absorbing all these orders. So someone, there's 230 volume here, 230 ES contracts market bought total, and then it moves back down. What's going to happen? They're going to be in pain. And that's how you get these quick moves. And I'm in this trade for, I was in this trade for like 8 minutes. So because they're going to stop out, they're in pain. They got long and they put their stop under here or wherever, and then they stop out. That's why you kind of see this sweep right here. It came back down, it kind of swept, went back up, and then ultimately failed. You can see aggressive buying. It fails. They stop out. They're in pain, and I want to be on the side of trade that's gonna be against the pain. So if there's buyers that are gonna be put in pain and they're gonna stop out, I want to be shorting. Consequently, if there's tons of sellers in pain, like there's aggressive buying or aggressive selling at a low, especially like on a bullish day, if there's aggressive selling at the low and it pops back up, that tells me that the buyers are absorbing the sellers, and then they might get put in pain, and I want to long with them. All right, so that's an example of how I use Bookmap to find a trade today. It's something that once you start to understand order flow, it's going to make more sense. And like I said, I have a order flow series I made. I'll put the link in the description below. It goes into more detail on auction market theory and how to kind of understand this. But once you understand the relationship between buyers and sellers, these bubbles and these resting orders, it makes it a lot easier to take your key levels and whatever you trade with, whatever your strategy is. If you trade like the ICT stuff, which I don't do, but if you trade that, or if you are just trading off of indicators, you can use this to confirm your setups. Like I already have my key level there. Like I have 80 here. I'm already looking to short at 80, but what this allows me to do is confirm that there is a good reason to short there. Buyers are going to be put in pain, sellers are going to defend, and I can see it happening on the tape, and I can see the orders waiting. So Bookmap is a great way to level up your trading and just confirm your setups so you can actually see what is going on. I mean, this is the market. The green bubbles and the red bubbles are the market. Participants buying and selling. If you have any questions about Bookmap, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll reply to you. And follow me on Instagram. I'd appreciate it. Check out my order flow series. And that's it for this one. I'll see you guys next time.